Hey, JP, how are you? I think we might have everyone muted by default. I'm going to give it a few minutes to see if any additional people come in, and then we can go ahead and get started. Looks like we're going to try to unmute it so that since it's probably going to be a smaller group, people will be able to actively communicate without being restricted. So. Okay, I think we've removed that restriction, so you should be able to unmute yourself manually if you wanted to speak. But welcome, Sharon and JP. We can go ahead and get started. I know it was going to be a smaller group today, so it's nice and cozy. I like these little intimate get-togethers here. So it'll be fun to kind of go over what we're going to discuss today, which is essentially just kind of around the skills matrix. And we brought on a guest here from one of our clients, Silvana, with the PAC Group, who's going to explain kind of their unique use case for utilizing skills, and then briefly kind of give you a sneak peek behind the curtain on some new things that we're going to be rolling out at the end of this quarter. And we'll give you some more information on how to stay in the loop and get more detailed information about that at that time as well. So I'm pretty sure I've met with, I know I've met with JP and Sharon as well. So just to kind of reintroduce myself, my name is Tim Kamen. I'm the Director of Client Success here with Sift. So I'm pretty much your point of resource for anything that you may need when it comes to pre-sales, which doesn't rely too heavily on you both since you're already clients, but anything that you may need from a technical standpoint now that you're current clients, and then anything that you may need from a business perspective, or I'm also an untitled therapist. Sometimes I'm just here if you just need to vent. I'm used to it. I've been with my wife for 20 years, so I'm used to just nodding and agreeing and saying, yes, dear, you're right, dear, and stuff like that. So and then again, we have Silvana from the PAC Group. I can go ahead and let her introduce herself here and kind of give you a little bit of a background on her.
Sure. Thank you, Tim. Thanks for introduction. Thank you for inviting me. I am one of probably the most demanding clients of Sift that Tim had to deal. Tim and the team, actually. I'm here just to introduce our Sift use case with the company, how we have been utilizing it, what customization we've made, some of the features that we have put to Sift for PAC, and if you have any questions or anything else, I'm here to answer anything. I think this is a great idea to have a client's perspective on a call or a webinar, because for so many applications, we've asked this question: how are the other companies doing it? What are some use cases out there? So just to bring some perspective, an example of our company, you'll see more on my presentation later. But yeah, pleasure to share all that.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, it's always great to kind of have, like you said, real world perspective and kind of seeing how things are done a little bit outside of the box to give other people some ideas to, maybe switch things up on their end. So just some
Yeah, and
general
sorry,
housekeeping. Oh, go
just
ahead. Sorry.
just real quick, just to explain my position in the company. I'm a business operations analyst for PAC for 2 years, just dealing with new tools, new applications, supporting the front end team with automations, applications to make everybody's lives easier so that we could respond to our clients' needs and be there for clients with informed data, and we could make informed decisions all together, just so that to bring it to the audience.
Great. And yeah, so just a minor housekeeping. So, we do welcome all dialogue. So, please feel free to use the chat. And we also unmuted everybody so you can chime in and use the microphone as well. We will have uh, some different poll questions as well throughout here to kind of spark some additional conversation, and then as usual, roughly 36 hours after we finish this, we will have a copy of this presentation so that you have it to reflect on if you'd like to rewatch it. So again, the agenda is just explaining the purpose of the office hours and kind of what it's used for, and go over any new updates since the last time we had one, and then the main bulk of it is just kind of understanding the skills asset within Sift, and then to have Silvana show their specific use case for the PAC group and how they're using it to match team members with specific jobs within their organization. And then, like I said, I will kind of open it up for discussion, give you a little teaser on some of the things that we're working on here for this quarter, and tell you how to find out more about that in the next week or so. So one of the things that we have done recently, since our last webinar, is we've kind of updated and streamlined the mappings portion when you're setting your attributes within Sift in the admin panel. It used to be we would just take in the file, and then you would hit a drop down, choose what attribute it was, and then map it to the one that's existing within Sift. We tried to be more intuitive and smarter by automatically reading the file and making an educated guess to map things properly. So, in this case, we see anniversary date, and we map it to the proper attribute for anniversary date. Same with emails, first name, last name. So it kind of makes it a lot quicker for you, and also reduces some of the errors that we were seeing. This mainly streamlined from our free trial users who were going in and not properly setting mappings and not being able to see the data exactly how they wanted it to. So again, we're trying to make a more intuitive approach at it, but we always suggest going through and making sure everything is correct, because it's not 100% foolproof, but it does a pretty good job at going through and eliminating some of those real-time errors that we were seeing. Plus, we do have a section now where it shows if there are any errors that need to be fixed prior to you uploading it, so you don't have to wait for the job to finish to error out to see that you had a problem, and to do it. And then anything that is considered a warning that we recommend fixing, but it's not going to stop or break anything from importing properly. So that's just something new that we've recently released within the last couple of months here within Sift. And so I guess we will start with our first poll question. Are you able to easily find which employees have certain skills or certifications at your organization? So we'll go ahead and launch that question here. All right, so we've got a couple of responses. So looks like 2/3 or maybe a quarter, maybe some additional ones trickling in, that are able to easily find someone with the right skills or certifications that they're looking for within the organization. And looks like there was one or two that responded to no. So great. That's kind of the purpose of this particular meeting here, is just to kind of go over how we can help you with that and streamline things. So we can turn that no into a yes. So the importance of knowing your organizational skills is pretty important. It helps to better leverage talent within your organization. You want to be able to find the right resource for the right job in as quick of a manner as you possibly can. I always like to use the prime example of within my last company. It was very similar to how Sift is. Sift is a much smaller company that's owned by the Rocket family of companies, which there's 20,000+ people within the organization. So having the ability to use Sift to quickly find someone within the FOC side to assist with what I'm looking for is detrimental. At my last company, it was very similar to that. We were a very small group in a much larger ocean, and I had a question about my benefits when it came to gym reimbursement, and I wanted to find out who I could reach out to and if there were any particular forms I needed to fill out to make sure that I was getting that taken care of. What should have been something I could have found an answer to if they utilized Sift in a matter of a few minutes. It was 2.5 months before I finally just said, you know what, it's not worth the $40 in my pocket every month that they would be reimbursing me for this gym membership. I'm just going to call it a loss. And that's exactly kind of the brainchild and reasoning behind Sift and having the ability to know who does what within your organization. It helps you with building out projects teams. It's, again, putting the right person on the project based on the skills and their expertise. It helps employees understand who the experts are. So if you want to move a task forward within a project, but lack the expertise themselves, they know who to reach out to bounce any questions that they may have that they might be stuck on. So.
Hey, Tim, are you actually sharing your screen right now?
I am. Am I not?
Okay. Don't see anything on it, and at least on my end. Yep.
Yeah, can't see anything.
There we go.
There we go. Beautiful. Thank you.
Have I been going blind this entire time?
I think so.
It's all good.
Monday brain on Thursday, I swear. So yes, again, so that's the importance of kind of knowing your organization's skills and kind of easily identify who does what within the organization to assist with what you're looking for. So how Sift shows skills. We currently allow you to showcase up to 20 skills on your profile and allows you to set a rating on where you feel you are when it comes to that, whether you're beginner, intermediate, expert, or an advanced user. You can show soft and hard skills. And we have a database that's pre-populated with over 40,000 skills in there. So if there isn't one that's in there, you do have the ability to freeform add something in there. But for the most part, if it's something you are proficient in, we should have it, unless it's extremely niche, which kind of would segue into Silvana and some of the things that they do. Our database that we have should definitely assist with that. And when it comes to the skills themselves, you have the ability to filter based on skills along with any additional attributes in there. So you are finding the right resource. So if you're looking for, someone that has XML experience and Linux and can do jQuerying, you can throw that all into the system and easily filter it out to find, a potential list of 3 people as opposed to 30 people if you were just to look for someone who has Linux, a background in Linux. And you can also further that by looking for a specific team or a job title so that you can narrow it down even further to find the right resource. And again, as I mentioned, you have the ability to rate your skill level based on proficiency. So beginner is just you have a basic understanding of it, but you don't really use it on a regular basis to be, considered professional at it. Intermediate, you've kind of passed that learning stage. Your feet are in the water, and you're able to work on things with, using some materials as backup. Googling it if you're not 100% sure. Advanced is it's something you pretty much do on a daily basis, and you only have to go to documentation every once in a while. And an expert is you could do it in your sleep. You pretty much know the ins and outs, and you're considered the subject matter expert within your organization for something like that. And they come to you for the document writing and not the other way around. So. And then I will go ahead and pass it over to Silvana so that she can kind of go over how the PAC Group uses their skills to connect people within their organization.
Sure. Well, thank you, Tim. I will briefly explain a little bit of the background of the situation before we had Sift and what actually brought the need to contact Sift team and explain our problem and then find the solution for that. So we are a very spread company over almost 40 years now. We're in about 6 different continents, 20 plus countries with 300 plus contractors and employees in the company. And because of the nature of our work, there are so many times that we are in need to search the skills amongst our talents, to identify who can do what, who has availability, where are they in the world, location wise, as well as previous experience and all that information. One other thing is that very often we have contact with a certain group of employees and colleagues and coworkers that we work with, but for the rest, we might not be so much in touch. And at a certain point, we need to get in calls with them, discuss any projects for other clients and all that. So getting a background or a grasp of information of our team members probably before entering a call or before adding a discussion for a client would be beneficial so that we understand who we have to deal with, who we're talking to, get a little bit background of information, some of their interests and all that. So with all of these needs, we were looking for a platform to do these for us so that we don't have to keep records manually. We don't have to go over and ask probably the older team members for such information and all that. So that's how we contacted with Sift's team. And as it stated over there, the lack of a central place to store all of the contractors and employer skills in one place was actually what drive the discussion. We have had a lot of discussions with the Sift team members just because the nature of and the needs of our company were quite unique, and we were able to customize and personalize it of some sections. And in the screen is just one example of how, despite having Sift with a directory of over 40,000 skill sets in there, we were in need of customizing skills that are only related to our company, only for PAC. And there are just some examples popping up in your screen. And we were able to customize our Sift page to demonstrate that. So this is one of the examples. I think we have added project number information. We have added project location information in there as well, and some other customization features that Sift provides so that we could easily search upon these criteria that were unique to our company, and we could generate reports, we could get information, we could get the list of the employees that had that certain attribute to their profiles so that it would be easier and automatic research for the rest of the team. One other thing that I wanted to share is that, like I mentioned, PAC is actually very global. So rolling out the Sift globally has been a little bit of a challenge because every entity has their own HR representatives, their own management representatives, and being the center of the entire office globally, the entire company globally, has meant to spread the work locally so that we could have everybody enrolled and engaged to Sift. So to do that, I've been working with all of the HR reps to bring their local people in there, and then building maintenance systems every 2 weeks or probably once a month to go over all of the information to make sure that that is up to date. It's well fed and it's maintained by HR representatives and their local people in a timely basis, basically. One other thing that I wanted to mention here is that I've raised the question whether is it suitable, is it compliant with so many countries in the world. And here I can mention Thailand that is there. China is another example. So that every entity that we have offices could enroll, and that was another problem that was solved, because there are so many platforms that are not used globally. We've had issues, especially with Thailand and China, since they have some restrictions to the internet connection. But everybody was able to enroll to Sift, to log they could access it, create their profiles and all that with no issues. So that we're very happy that we do have one platform for every entity in the world, so that we don't have to use separate local tools and platforms for one specific problem, so that we have one solution for all. Other things, implementation, obviously, it's a process. It's still ongoing. It's very important for us to keep it maintained up to date and set certain deadlines to make sure that the information in there is current and it's being updated, because of the nature of what our employees and contractors do. Their work is changing frequently, so that we could keep that posted and make sure that whoever's searching for that information is actually getting the most recent one. After the application, we were able to answer the question that was asked so many times in the company, where to find somebody who could speak English and Portuguese and had 3D design skills, and also could have another PAC related skill in their profile, and also like cats, and all that all together into one simple question asked, that's simply researching by keywords, and the names would show up into the Sift profile. And actually, I'm proud to say that over there, it's over 70% of the people have had Sift profiles 2 weeks after the implementation of this enrollment. That number has been increased. We have been using Sift for over 6 months now, and we're enrolling and introducing it to all of the new employees and contractors that we have in the team as well, so that it's something that's become part of the onboarding process and has eased a lot the implementation and the introduction to the newcomers. And we're just building to that, so that we have continuous updated data that is very, very important for us. It's been a process, especially the setup for the company and all that, but after has been quite a delight working with Sift and researching what we need with Sift to get all of our answers answered very, very fast and very automatic. Is a self-serving point for everybody who would need to get those answers that I mentioned before. So that has eased a lot the process of finding the skills amongst our talents, identifying where they're at, searching the background and information about any of the team members in the world, and somehow bringing together a very globally, physically spread organization into one place where we could find all. And I
Awesome.
believe that's all I have to share for right now, unless there are any questions or anything else that anyone could be curious about.
Yeah, I know I do have to give you like a lot of props and kudos. You know, usually as part of the onboarding process, I have standard documentations that I'll send out that are, you know, pretty straightforward, that explain what it is, how to use the program. And I think it was like maybe a week or two after I sent them to you, you sent me what you had, and it was just like this a dozen or more page just document, just outlining every single like process. And I was floored and blown away. I was like, this is how you do it. I was like, so yeah, that just shows why they have such a high adoption rate within their organization for utilizing it, because they got very niche and you know, broad to the point.
Yeah,
too.
Thank you. That's also thanks to the ease of accessibility and understanding of Sift within the organization. Actually, again, data is very important to us, as is for any other company, and making sure that inputs that we're adding to there make sense and are following the same logic. So we did kind of prepare a guideline for all of the team members, and it has been resulting very useful and helpful for them, so that we don't have to go over the data and we don't have to make a lot of corrections, so that we just prevent that up front. And I appreciate you for that. And I know that Tim and the rest of the team have always been there for any questions and adjustments. And I apologize for being so demanding, but we're on a good we're on a good route now. So all of the maintenance and the building work is passed, so that we're just building to that.
Perfect. Yeah, and if there's any questions that I can answer from a Sift perspective, or Silvana can answer from a PAC group, by all means, feel free to speak
Yeah,
up. And
I have one, Tim. I
yeah,
had
for sure.
typed it in the chat, but it's all good.
Oh,
So I was asking if the customization of the skills is an option out of the box, because she mentioned that they had some very niche sort of skill levels. Is that something is customizable, or is that something we'd have to work with Sift to customize?
it is something we would work collaboratively together. So
Mm-hmm.
it just depends on a couple of different factors. Like if you wanted to kind of overhaul and like utilize our ranking systems where you can, set your skill proficiency, but utilize your own skills, then yes, we would have to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
We would essentially take
Okay.
your list of what you want and implement it within your instance. If it's just you want to have a custom list where they can just set their own chips, then that's something you have the ability within the admin panel to go through and create a custom attribute that allows you to
Mm-hmm.
have like multi-selectable chips, and then they can go through and choose it, and you can maintain and update that list as
Okay.
freely as you'd like.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Any other questions?
I guess I'll ask one here. Is there anything for Silvana or anyone else here who's using skills that you think you would wish it had? There's a feature you wish like you could do with the skills that's currently missing?
Yeah, it's a great question.
Yep. I think we're all set on our end with, again, being able to add our customized skills and being able to feature those. And I really do like the fact that you could rate them on a scale of 1 to 5, I believe, with 5 being expert to that level and 1 beginner. So I think it does answer our company's needs as it is right now.
Okay.
All right. So as I mentioned, I did want to kind of give a sneak peek at some of the things that we are working on here within Sift, and for more detailed, explanations of everything, we will be having another webinar that is going to be hosted by Ryan Bickham, who's our VP of Product and Engineering. It'll be next Wednesday at the same time, 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific. He's going to be kind of going over some of the things that he's working on with updates to Sift. But the big one that we're working on this quarter is, and it's something we've had a handful of people reach out and say, hey, we would really love to have it, is the ability to have like a true dotted line reporting. Right now, within the org chart, you only have that one-to-one relationship with your manager, and then it would build out from there. But oftentimes we see customers that may work in a manufacturing industry where they have multiple reports. They could report to someone on the floor within the warehouse that they're working in, and then also report to someone else within the organization. So we wanted to be able to have that set up to where you could easily distinguish between those, and then kind of take it a step further and have cross-team collaborations where you can have a dotted line reporting to show someone within sales that doesn't necessarily work on the marketing team, but works very closely with specific people on the marketing team, and they can have that dotted line reported set up as well to show that they collaborate and work with these particular people on a frequent basis. So that's one main thing. And then the other thing that we've also been asked about quite a bit that we're going to be rolling out with that same change for the org chart is to have like open roles. So we've had a lot of clients say we would love to be able to show open roles within the organization, so we could see what spots need to be filled. We could use it for internal hiring. So if someone were to go on there and see that there's an opening for a senior role that they felt that they would be qualified to potentially do, they could easily see that and get some additional information to reach out to the correct hiring person within the company to ask those questions. So those are the two main things that we are going to be rolling out this quarter. And like I said, Ryan will be going over that in more detail. I'm sure he'll be showing some mock-ups and some designs of kind of how we're looking to have it all laid out when it comes to the org chart. So, we've been working pretty diligently on our end to put together some good ideas here and kind of put all the pieces together of that puzzle. So with that, that kind of takes us to the end here. You know, by all means, if I believe it was Sharon who had asked about the custom skills, if you wanted to kind of touch more on that, we can definitely connect. You can either email that support address that's on the screen here. You should have my direct email as well, and we can set some time up to kind of go over that and discuss, you know, how you want it to look and if we need to get our development team involved to set up anything custom within your environment, or if it's something we can just kind of set up through a creating a new attribute on your end. But yeah, if there's anything else that anyone wants to bring up real quick before we dismiss, that kind of takes us to the end.
Thank you, guys. Great job.
Thank you. All right. Well, we really appreciate it. And again, we will have a recording of this here within the next day and a half or so. And then by all means, feel free. We would love to have you next Wednesday to kind of go over some of the more things that we're doing with our development team so you can kind of get a better understanding of that dotted line reporting and open roles that we're working on. All right, everybody, you guys have a great day. And as always, if you need anything, feel free to reach out.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Tim.